took Wanda Rondo's life. Durk has been locked up in Broward County Jail. He's their Lil Durk arrested, facing life in prison in a jaw-dropping twist that sent shockwaves across the rap world. Lil Durk has officially been taken into custody, and this time, it looks like Thigby 2's street life might be permanent. The charge is so serious, they vagued him staring down a life sentence with no light at the end of the tunnel. No. You're probably thinking, we've popped. To the F-boss, oh, we're getting ginto. All of it from private jets to prison bars, once flying high in private jets. Lil Durk, now known to the system as 32-year-old Durk Banks, is locked behind cold concrete walls of federal confined. Why? Because federal agents just cracked open one of the dark spots in recent rap history, a murder-for-hire scheme that ended in bloodshed according to newly unsealed court documents. Durk and 5 members of his crew have been indicted for allegedly courting team a multi-state hit job, a plot that allegedly targeted Wanda Rondo's inner circle back in 2022. And this isn't just hearsay. The indictment is stacked. Conspiracy to commit murder for hire, resulting in death and the use of a machine gun. Also resulting in death. If convicted, Durk could be sentenced to life in federal prison, no parole, no mercy. There are no 5 people in custody who weren't in custody before. 5 people who were alleged to have committed a murder in broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon in the city of Chicago. Harassed. Real story. Federal agents did I just pull names out of a hat. They tied 5 affiliates directly to the Los Angeles ambush that ended with Wanda Rondo's cousin in a body bag. But let's be clear. Rondo wasn't collateral, was the target. This wasn't random. This was payback, straight retaliation for the death of King Von. And if you're wondering how Lil Durk got roped in, let's just say the feds weren't playing checkers. They were patiently connecting every dot, waiting for final piece that would bring the F-boss crashing down. Turns out this entire hit was a sequel to the Monaco hookah lounge bloodbath in Atlanta, where King lost his life back in 2020. That wasn't just a headline, that was personal, and if you know anything about street loyalty, you know Durk wasn't about to let Von's death slide. The feds didn't need a snitch this time. They knew exactly Wow would want revenge. They knew who could fund it, and they damn sure knew who gaveth greenlight. So when the 5 shooters were finally bagged and booked, it was only a matter of time before the spotlight hit Lil Durk. The feds had been stacking receipts, tracking moves, and collecting phone records like trophies. The time the hammer dropped, Durk was already done. Game over. Broward County Jail, he's there right now. This is just Florida. Yes, Broward, he's in Florida. I got the whole thing on. I look in my stream. I got it. Oh my God, just like clockwork. DJ Academics was one-offed first to break the news about arrest. He dropped a video then lit up Twitter with this breaking: Lil has been arrested by U.S. Marshals and is being held in Broward County Correctional until extradition to California on a federal murder for hire charge tied to the killing of Wanda Rondo's cousin Lil Pab. And suddenly Cat Williams' prophecy came true. 2024 is the year of truth, and clearly no lies detected, because now the label isn't just in hot water, they're halfway down the RICO pipeline, according to new Aurelius court docs. Federal prosecutor no longer treating F as just a music crew. They've labeled it a criminal lenters. The indictment spells it out: co-conspirator. 1 put bounties on people they wanted gone, including Taba Kawando, Rondo, the rewards, cash, and even fake promises of music deals through FIFOnd. Here's where it gets even messider. Durk isn't just a name in the file, he's co-conspirator 3, and the receipts? Airwild court records say a credit card linked to F, reportedly tied to Durk's former manager, was used to book airfare and hotel rooms for the shooters. Even worse, another card under the same account was allegedly issued to Lil Durk's father. But things didn't go as smoothly as planned. When the plan was carried out, things spiraled fast. The indictment says defendant Jones, Lindsay, and co-conspirator 2 opened fire on Tebow's V-Hall, but ended up killing SR Thepasenger. If you've been paying attention, you already know. SR was lolpab, and the whispers after that hit, they were true word was that someone snitched on Quando. Rondo's location, well guess what? The indictment confirms it on August 18, 2002. Co-conspirator for Learn TB was in LA. Staying at a Hoteland, just like that the hunt began. Hair swat, the feds say, happened next to Vickles, one with no plates tailed. TB tow a gas station, then the team let off 18 rounds, several hitting lolpab, ending his life on the spot. But what happened after the smoke cleared, that's what really sealed their fate. The shooters regrouped at a nearby restaurant, scrambled the payment details, and then in a move so dumb it's shocking, they used the same linked credit card to buy flight tickets back to Chicago's straight paper trail. Now let's document Durk's murder-for-hire trial was originally set for January 7, 2025. Beauties now been pushed back to October 22-5. Why? Because prosecutors and defense Beth agreed this case is too massive and too complicated. Toresh, how massive? Over 230 gigabytes. After digital evidence, more than 20,000-page soft reports, photos, witness statements, medical files. But that's not the only reason for the delay. See something even bigger just came out. Turns out an FBI agent in Chicago filed a newly unsealed affidavit linking Durk to another murder-for-hire case, this one tied to the 2022 killing of Stefan Mack, known gangster disciple leader, and it goes deep. The affidavit includes text messages and social media exchange showing people discussing payments coming directly from TZP, directly from Durk. For that hit. Why? Because word on the street say Stefan Mack had something to do with the 2021 murder of Durk's brother Dathan Reedy. Know how Durk moves? Loyalty is everything. If Dathong was taken out, there was going to be blood. The FBI affidavit paints a dark picture. Durk was and possibly still is offering money to eliminate anyone tied to his brother's murder, and when Durk's legal team tried to get him out on pre-trial release denied. Why? Because prosecutors used that FBI affidavit as their smoking gun. It proved in their eyes that Lil Durk is too dangerous to be out on the street. So yeah, maybe the fans shouldn't have pushed that slide for Von Nardave so hard, because it looks like Durk actually did, and now he might never come back, says the charges mark. The lights fall out from the high-profile killing of King Von. They connecting. What this really means? East thought prosecutors believe this case goes far deeper than just a single hit. They see it as part of a long-standing street war, rooted in blood, betrayal, and unfinished business. It all circles back to 2020, Quando Rando's crew got into it with King Von's people outside that hookah lounge in Atlanta, and Von ended up dead. But what started as a fist fight, just fists, spiraled into a multi-year cycle of retaliation, ego, and vengeance. You know what really hit? While researching this story, I came across a comment on YouTube that summed it up better than any headline. It's tragic that all of this came from Aniga-fueled fight. What's left is just a pile of consequences that Lil Durk Makari for the rest of his life. Let that sink in. But can you really blame Durk to understand why he may have slid for Von? You have to understand what Von meant to him. These weren't just woo rappers from the same city. This was blood without the DNA. Von and Durk filled ones. Lil Durk, full name Derek Banks, was born October 19, 1992, and grew up in Englewood on the south side of Chicago. It wasn't a neighborhood, it was a battlefield. High crime, heavy gangs, no safety net. When Durk was just 7 months old, his father was sent away to prison, was raised in that harsh silence. No dad, no guidance, just streets and struggle. But music, that was his escapist weapon, his way out. Then there was King Von, born Devin Goyne Bennett on August 1994. Vaughn came up in Oblak, a neighborhood so dangerous it's basically a war zone with street names named after a fallen gang member. Oblak wasn't just where Vaughn lived, it's what he survived: multiple arrests, countless friends, lost to gun violence. Vaughn knew pain firsthand, but he also had something rare: charisma and a talent for storytelling. Thought made the hoodless in Durk saw that spark. Already a heavyweight in the Chicago rap scene, Durk didn't just offer Van a feature, he gave him a platform. A brotherhood, a blueprint. He took Vaughn under his wing, helped him maneuver through the snakes in the industry and the ones still lurking back home. And it wasn't just about music, it was about loyalty, trust to men trying to stay alive in a world built to bury them. Their friendship ran deep, built in trauma, sealed in survival. So when Vaughn was gunned down in cold blood, it was never going to be just another rip post. This wasn't rap beef, this was personal. And if you really want to know how much Vaughn meant to Durk, just listen to Weth told The Breakfast Club. He got a whole story behind him. You know what I'm saying? He from Oblak. Okay, I'm saying that should speak for itself. And Booty, I'm saying he just real music. I'm just a real _ I with him. No, I'm saying it's my brother. As their bond grew deeper, Lil Durk made it official. His signed King Vaughn to his label, Only Family. That move marked more than just a contract. It was a declaration. This is my brother. We read a tagather in music and in life. Shortly after, King Van dropped his debut mixtape Grandson Velour 1 in 2019. It featured Crazy Story 2.0 and Owned Twin Nem, 2 tracks that didn't just slap, they sealed the Evil Twins' identity. The eyes of fans worldwide, the project popped off, and fans' talent for vivid street-laced storytelling won him a loyal following. Bet let's not twist the facts. Vaughn didn't come into the rap game clean. Before music, he was feared. He beat Amateur Case in 2017. That was the turning point, not into music, but into legend. From that moment King Vaughn didn't just rap, he used beats to declare war. Known to openly diss rivals in his lyrics, Vaughn, a proud member of the Black, disciplinedly fired shots at STL, their sworn enemies from just blocks away. In Chicago, as a teen, Vaughn vey headfirst in Togung life. The Black Disciples weren't just a crew, they were a citywide force soaked in blood, history, power, respect, revenge. It all came with the patch and Vaughn. He rose, fast, fearless, ruthless, ready. His name started circulating the streets like a whisper. Ed Curse, one of the first strikes that solidified his reputation, was the murder of King Doc, a rival gang member. On April 28, 2012, Doc was ambushed by 4 shooters outside a corner store. After taking hits, he stumbled into nearby weeds and died, only to be found hours later by his 16-year-old cousin. Madel Woe discovered his lifeless body. That was just the beginning. Van joined Twitter in mid-2012, and he wasn't subtle. Live tweeted his street life. He name-dropped murders he made veiled threats sound like punchlines. He tweeted about drilling since a kid and even fantasized about killing cops. He called himself a shooter for O.D. Perry and proudly compared himself and his close friend Troy to Phineas and Ferb. But with Glockston came August 8, 2012. The night before, Vaughn tweeted homicide in Thier, smells like a graveyard. Hours later, the prophecy came true. A group from Oblak, rumored to include Wagon and Troy, allegedly gunned down Terrell Dirty Real, Joshua, a Saint Lawrence Cephaliate. Just before 3:30 a.m., his body was found face down on a sidewalk in Washington Park. Each body that dropped added to Vaughn's growing infamy. To some, he was a street hero, to others a serial killer in a rapper's body. Thon came the murders of Melly P5 and Lil James, darkening the myth of King Vaughn even further. But here's the twist: while Vaughn was stacking bodies in the streets, death itself was shadowing him, inching closer. He was too caught up in smoke to see it coming. Now the seeds off Van's fatal fallout with Quando were already sown long before fists flew. It wasn't personal beef. It Was affiliation where Von was Lil Durk's protagakwander. Rondo was locked in with unbuying boy, one of Durk's most bitter enemies. Tensions between Durk's camp and NBA's squad weren't just known, they were industry legend. So when their foot soldiers crossed paths, the outcome was almost anodal. November 6, 2020. The night started like any other. King Von and his team hit up Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, a popular nightlife hotspot. Coincidentally, or maybe fatefully, Rondo and his crew were there too. The attention-wasificating surveillance cameras later showed the exact moment Von walked up to Rondo in the parking lot and punched Juan square in the face. That single punch detonated a melee between Bathanages. What began with fists quickly escalated to flying bullets during the chaos. Timothy lulled Tim Leaks, one of Rondo's closest allies, allegedly pulled a gun and opened fire. Von was shot multiple times. The scene turned into a war zone. People ran in every direction as gunfire chowed through the night. Van's team tried to rush him to safety, but the damage was done. King Von was taken to a nearby hospital in critical condition. Despite all efforts, he didn't make it. He was pronounced dead later that night as smoke cleared. Leaks was arrested and charged with murder, but the decision released him on a $100,000 bond. Enraged fans and fellow rappers alike for Rondo, he denied everything in later interviews. He claimed he didn't know Von had no beef and that the shooting was simply self-defense. But let's be honest, these streets don't forget, and once blood is spilled, the war doesn't stop. One thing about it, he going to protect me with anything, which anybody should have thought. Smoke cleared. Rumors exploded. Online claims that Rondo tried to snatch King Von's chain while Von lay bleeding on the ground. It didn't take long for the internet to run wild with story. But Rondo, he clapped back hard. He called the allegations lies, pure clout chasing, and said anyone pushing that narrative had no idea what it's like in a real shootout. Ain't nobody thinking about no damn chain when bullets flying, he said. And honestly, the streets may be cold, but that kind of accusation could get someone killed. Sure, ma'am. But a chain, that ma'am, when it come to jewelry, ma'am, only people with bad intentions who cloud chasing and stuff looking to try to take a underscore chain, ma'am. A $50, $60,000 chain, ma'am, like a go bad, that's 50, 60,000. Like that's not nothing on the other side off this bloody saga. Rondo and his team weren't exactly walking away clean. The streets were on fire, and the industry wasn't far behind. Fans, rappers, blog pages, everyone was pointing finger, shouldering Rondo responsible for sparking chain of events that ended King Von's life. But Rondo, he didn't fold, even as the headed unbearable, even as concerts were canceled, threats poured in, and tensions boiled. Rondo remained defiant. He kept dropping music, kept claiming innocent. Then he did something that made it all worse, in a move that sparked outrage. Rondo gifted Timothy Tim Leaks, the man accused of killing King Von, a luxury watch. Ain't that something? He posted a photo to Instagram stories with caption, "Me and my twin." The image to brand new luxury watches, one with black trim, the other blue one for him own for Tim, and just to make it loud and clear, he tagged Lulem's account. Fans went ballistic. Some called it loyalty, most called it a slap in the face, a bold, heartless flex in the middle of a murder case. Meanwhile, some voices in the rap world praised Lil Durk for not retaliating, for fanning the flames of violence after Van's murder. But that silence, it didn't last. Because once the slide for Wagon comments took over the internet, Durk gave them what they asked for, and just like that his empire collapsed. Fall of Agent. You see, when someone powerful falls, they don't just hit the ground, they bring the whole house down with them. That's exactly what happened to Lil Durk. 2024 started with headlines about thanners and accolades. He was being given the key to the village of Broadviews, miling, dapping up politicians, looking like a man who made it, and now he's behind bars, accused of murder for hire. His name attached 2 federal indictments, a king turned inmate, all in the span of phone. Brutal year. Who's to blame? It's simple. You can't live to lives for varier. Either a rapper or a gangster beautif. You try to be both. Eventually, you'll blag like Lil Durk, a rapper in jail and an empire on the outside, crumbling with no one left to steer it because the feds never stop watching, touch something dirty. And they'll wait, they'll follow they'll stack the evidence until you'll feel safe, and that's when they strike a sacco. Davis, assistant director of THE FBI's Los Angeles field office, fieldly said. While you're out living your life thinking you got away with it, we're putting the pieces together, and one day they'll fit. And that's exactly we thought too. He started 2024. Shaking hands with mayors, he ended it chained up B marshals. Want a quick rewind of how things flipped so fast? Let's take a look at how Lil Durk's downfall truly began. Applause just when things seemed to be looking up for Lil Durk. Life pulled the rug right from under him. The All My Life rapper was recently honored near his hometown for his charitable efforts through the Neighborhood Heroes Foundation. He was awarded keys to Thevels of Broadview and the village of Bellwood, a rare honor that cemented his status as the voice of the Trenchester hometown hero, but in a stunning plot twist, the same key that was handed to him in a ceremony on October 18th was notched back just a week later. Why Beckus? Durk Yoder arrested after the news broke that US Marshals had taken Durk into custody in Florida for an alleged murder for hire conspiracy. The mayor of Broadview, Katrina Thompson, wasted no time. She revoked the honorary key, and on top of that, Broadview officials officially cut ties with Durk's nonprofit Nazar. And the reason, she said, while the U.S. legal system believes in innocent until proven guilty, the people of Broadview expect higher ethical standards, especially from their so-called HOS heroes. It's a harsh reminder. When you play the gang game, your wins are temporary, but your consequences last forever. Your legacy gets stained. Your associates turn their backs, and if you're lucky, just lucky, you might end up in a cell, but if not, you end up like King Von in a casco. Now, in the midst of Durk's arrest, a chilling question gripped the internet. Will Lil Durk's empire survive? And then came the bombshell. According to reports from the Express Tribune, it wasn't thieves that cracked Durk's world open. It was someone inside, someone he trusted. Lil Durk may have been snitched on, be one of his own word, is an member now. Only his Jam was secretly working with federal agents, and not just recently, for years. Allegedly, Jam wore a wire for several years while gathering audio evidence that connected Lil Durk to the 2022 attempted murder of Quandorando, the same hit that ended up killing Lulu Pab. And that wasn't even the wildest part. The streets say that Jamu served 12 years for attempted murder before he being released in 2022 was one after. People Durk allegedly held him down while he was locked up, supported his family, even paid for his lawyers. And this is how it ended, with betrayal with a wiretap. When the betrayal hit social media, Say was one of the first to blast it out. Lil Durk's snitch was an member exposed for wearing a wire. Jam allegedly wore a wire for years, and the internet you already know they had jokes. One user wrote, he was hiding the wire in that big-ass forehead. Another chimed in with a modern theory. Ain't no wires no more, it's voice recorders. Now just drop it in your pocket and keep moving. And someone else took it even deeper. Your phone is the wire now. Every device around you is a wire. We in 2024. The tech moved up, and so did the rats, but the coldest part, the betrayal, came from Samayan. Durk once protected during an interview with DJ Vlad, even Whack 100 couldn't hold back. He aired out the fallout and exposed how the entire Lil Durk empire fell apart from the inside. 12 years out, interviewed, said he kept it real. Brought him cars, gave him 50,000 right. This made mention that ain't no smut on his name. He ain't never been a rat, caught a gun case, but eventually He, according to DJ Vlad Jam, had been locked up since 2010 serving a 12-year sentence for attempted murder. Heget out in 2022, the same year. Lil Pablois murdered, and from that moment on things started shifting. The whispers no say that Jam's release wasn't just freedom, it was an assignment. Since walking out of that prison, Jam has allegedly been working undercover, wearing a recording device and feeding law enforcement details about Lil Durk and the entire organization. The Savage Trail cuts even deeper when you look at their history, because now a 2023 interview with Jam has resurfaced, and it's uncomfortable to watch. And best it down with DJ Jerry. Jam spoke with pride about his connection to Lil Durk, opened up about their bond, the love felt, and the loyalty he thought they had. He said, "I remember Durk making songs for our parties back when we was broke. That man ain't have a dollar but still made sure I washed it." He talked about how Durk's music kept him going during those 12 dark years. Inside, he even claimed that Durk supported him financially, helping his family, showing love when nobody else would. So how did it all end up here? How does someone go from calling you bro to recording your every word, from praising you in interviews to handing over your SAF audio evidence that now fuels a federal lindict? One thing is clear: the deeper loyalty, the deadlier the betrayal. And now Lil Durk isn't just facing life in prison, he's facing the truth that their all danger wasn't the ops outside, it was the family sitting next to him. Along me old time in jail that stayed broke like before the money. You know what I'm saying? That was broke. I remember when the money went there. Lil Durk may have youped about knowing when someone's a buto snitch, but he never saw this one coming. One user said it best: to be betrayed by a childhood friend after you looked out for him, fed his family, Anthem. He wears a wire around you. That's insane. And honestly, they're right. It's not betrayal unless it comes from Theons. You trusted enemies don't owe you loyalty, but when a friend turns fed, thoughts the kind of pain you don't come back from. So if you thought this was wild, click the card on your screen right now, because the next chapter is Evan Mashir, and trust me, we're just getting started.